Woden's Day.
Look how clean that pallet is. Look how clean that
It's because you probably screwed it up yesterday. I watched the stream and I know what happened here. I know what happened here yesterday.
I used my little
I
tin.
watched and I know what went on
I used my little
in my
tin.
absence. And I don't know that I approve.
I used my little
I'm not
tin.
sure if I can approve of what went on in my absence yesterday. I saw. I reviewed. Not sure. Jury's out.
I put my paint on a new little tin.
Jury's out as to whether or not I find this to be...
I see, and I changed your paper.
Unapprovable.
Look, I changed your paper too.
That means you touched my miniatures.
I did. I put them exactly back, right where they're supposed to go. Chris was good. I was there. Hey, Plum Crunchy.
Hey, don't stick up for this guy.
El Fire Spray. What's going on, Stan? What did Chris break? I didn't break nothing.
Don't stick up for this guy.
You guys got to see me break my little goblins, their little ankles. The ankles on those goblin models.
Were you dry brushing and cracked them off of the base?
No,
or something?
I was trying to just get them off my painting stick. And
I'm
and
just pulled them up by the model. Yeah,
because I was batch painting all of them.
Yeah. Fake Chris broke all kinds of things. That was real Chris, Ghost Hunter.
No, that was Gabe.
Gabe was in the producer's chair.
Gabe is the real Chris. I am
What's up, Tim?
Farquad. Commando Ken, how many goblins did you break? I only broke 5.
Only 5, he says.
We finished 20 goblins, though.
That's only 20%. No, that's 25% you broke.
That's true.
Big number for failure.
Those little ankles, not good. They are not good.
It's like models that are like one little tiny toe on a tactical rock. They're jumping, and you go to pick them up and they bust right off. That's why I don't like magnets on bases in those magnetic cases, because the thin ankled pieces always break.
And those GW goblins were all one piece.
Yeah,
they're not. You don't put them together, and they'll have bars on them.
Yeah,
like the bars
on
and
the
then
feet.
Some of them had 1 foot, and I'm like, how are you not supposed to break this?
Yeah.
But see, look at this clean. I reset your project neutral. We got a clean palette. I changed your paper in your crate. And
so why is Chris? Why is Chris the Chris?
Yes, sir.
What is your love language?
Words of affirmation.
That I could tell because that's what you were just looking for.
Words of affirmation. What's the other one?
Chris, you're doing a great job, and thank you so much for doing and making
that.
all this stuff clean. Now that I know words of affirmation mean a lot to you, I will do a better job.
Not acts of service.
I'm not a real good words of affirmation guy.
What else? No, not acts of service, Gilborn. Oh my gosh, Gilborn, I met last night at Gamers Guild during Jordan's painting.
Nice.
Gilborn,
how did that go?
Loved to
Jordan
meet
said
you.
It was a good time.
It was. We're going to do more of those, it sounds like.
Nice.
It was a good time. So, super nice to meet you.
He even changed my oil in my car during lunch. That would have been a real problem because he'd have done it in the parking lot at Camelback and Central.
Yeah, we didn't do that. Hey, Blood Walrus, thank you so much for that sub. Chris is going to get his little noise.
Coffee and sadness. Coffee and sadness. So I have a question. If you're sad while partaking of your coffee, is the coffee the fix or the cause of the sadness? So is coffee and sadness, when I see names like this is where my brain goes. Is coffee and sadness a good thing because coffee cures the sadness? Or is it the state you're in because coffee is what you have when you're sad? He said yes.
That's a great question.
That's a better answer. Oh, my people.
What are you going to paint today?
Star Wars. Who knew?
Oh, sorry. It is the cram before the exam. We keep saying that, but I feel like Jason
Who freaking knew that, oh my gosh, I got to paint Star Wars.
I feel like you've done a good job, though.
Thank you, sir.
These are great.
I have a lot of dudes.
I put graphite gray all over my bases yesterday, and
I saw that.
Was perfect.
I saw that.
I loved how it came out.
I watched. Well, I didn't watch when it was happening live.
You were lurking.
No, I was not lurking.
You lurker.
Because I was not available.
That's true.
If I'd have been available to lurk, I should have been here streaming. That's always what you should hold me accountable to, Chad.
That is a good point. Well, sometimes you're out of town.
Right, which means I wouldn't be able to be here because I was not available.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh, but you mean if I was lurking like in Europe or something?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You've done that before.
I have done that before.
L fire spray. Getting hyped. You guys.
El, I'm going to need you to paint more stuff because I'm not going to finish. So I need you to finish for me. How about that? That sound good? I think it sounds great.
L.
Thanks.
L says, Jason, what were you using to carry your minis? Oh, he uses the mini bag. It's perfect.
Just the Go Bag Mini generally, but there have been plenty of times where I take like a battle foam case or something like that.
Kelmore, are there any techniques you wish you could put more time into for the hobby? For me, it's sculpting / converting. Ooh.
Oh, okay.
That's a great question. Starting off with a banger.
Well, because I'm sculpting, you want to do something fun? Grab my phone real quick. It's on my desk. Yeah. If you would, please.
Oh, you're going to show us the sculpt?
Yeah, I forgot to the other day. I am sculpting a model that I will eventually, if I finish it, I'll paint it on stream. It'll be a lot of fun, I think, for you guys to see it. At least I think it'll be fun. It's in. I won't repeat what I told Chris phase it's in, but it's in a phase that doesn't look very good right this minute because it's in the volume creation phase, right? Volume? Yeah, where I'm just making all the shapes, right? Oh, okay. So I'll go back and I'll walk you through. I'll step you through it here, right? I'll step you through it. So I made an armature.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
See?
Uh-huh.
So I made an armature on a block of wood. I just used the block of wood to hold it, and I put it on clay. This is just super Sculpty firm, right? That's fun. It's handception.
Whoa.
So I made an armature. Jen and I decided we were going to sculpt together, and so I made an armature. Nice. I bulked up the armature with some foil. Some epoxy putty. That's what this is a epoxy putty to keep the armature together because I use different lengths of, obviously this vestigial arm here is a different length of aluminum. And then the body is made up of 2 lengths that go into their legs and stuff. So I got the anatomy going on there and then a foil to bulk it up. And then I start building up Super Sculpty Firm on it. More Super Sculpty Firm, you can start seeing I'm building out the gut and the leg area with some musculature and some of that baking.
Nice.
Then we skip forward in time to where I have it like here. Oh. Where I've started again to just get basic musculature going and what I call volume building. The same way when we paint, we create volumes by giving shadow to things. So that it makes it feel like it's round, makes it feel like it's a cylinder, makes it feel like it has a shape that has three-dimensional depth on it. Right. That's what you're doing here. You're building up clay to give it volumes. Like you can see a shoulder now. You can kind of see the stump of where the shoulder up on top and the arms and legs and all that stuff. So still very rough, but and then I started doing the head.
Okay.
This last weekend, I started working on the head, so I built up some armature and started building up some more stuff. So this is definitely, if you're asking, like the thing I'd like to spend more time on. I love sculpting. This gives you an idea how big this guy is. He's like 180 millimeter. He's huge, right?
Yeah.
It's like Night Titan.
He has
size.
a third hand?
Yeah, he has a vestigial arm.
A vestigial, okay.
So he's got 2 arms. One of them will be really skinny. This one will be super bulked. This one is just shaped so I can build clay on it. It doesn't have any shape to it. Right?
Got it.
Neither do any of the arms. I haven't started work on arms or legs. I've been basically getting the whole form together. So I made upper and lower jaw on the armature. And I'm doing a lot of bulking and then baking and bulking and baking. So all this clay is baked that you see on here.
Yeah.
But it's all just substrate foundational stuff. I haven't started with detail baking. And then just building up the head as I go, wrapping clay. And then I baked a bunch of teeth and eyes.
Okay.
And then built up a little bit more on the head. And then starting to put teeth and eyes on.
Yeah.
So he's got this weird mutant 3 eyes over here, eye over here, and a bunch of teeth.
Okay, so he's going to be... It's almost like a chaos kind of spawn.
It's a weird giant monster thing that I'm just having fun. I'm just making it up as I'm going. This is freestyle clay building. I have no work I have no drawing that I've done. I'm literally bulking up clay as I go. So this is kind of like I will build the gums and the skin on the head over this, the eyebrows and eyelids and stuff. So the face will start to take shape into its final form. I did have to sculpt the inside, so his tongue and inside of the mouth are already fully sculpted with detail on there. I didn't really get a good pick of that, I don't think.
Nice.
Did I? You can kind of see some texture on the tongue.
Yeah.
So it's all pockmarked. And there's some other texture like on the inside of the mouth and stuff that I did. And I started doing the inside of the gums. But
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
so that's something that is always really fun for me, but that is really hard to find enough time to do.
Yeah.
And I don't do it with regards to like converting models anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't think about it.
Gotcha. Scope says, how well will something like khaki work with one step? Any ideas on the
Fantastic.
pre-shade that would work well for it?
With what?
Any ideas on a pre-shade that would work well for it?
I mean, anything. Black and white would work great. Khaki is a yellowish color already, so you can get away with, just building up some contrast with black and white. Obviously, where I'm painting right now over these guys with the purple and the taupe would work great. It depends on how bright you want it, right? White is the best color to underpaint with if you want a very bright, color. And then you work from there, right? So, because khaki is already kind of yellow, I don't know that I would worry too much about putting it over a yellow base. That might, help out a little bit. Speaking of which, we did the Emperor's Children.
That one was great.
Model the other day, and I get messages from Kyle all last night that I've ruined his life because he saw that. Kyle's our director of sales.
Yeah.
And Kyle saw that and immediately stopped what he was doing with his Night Lords that he was painting and started painting Emperor's Children. And so now he has a whole, he's doing both, I think, a 30K full-size army and a Imperialis 30K.
Oh, that's fun.
Emperor's Children using that method that we did that day, so that's really fun to watch.
It was a good, I loved that Zenithal choice with it.
It just worked really, really well. That purple turned out fantastic. He decided not to use pink because he's a trader.
Oh.
And he used purple dry brush instead of pink. So it's okay to be wrong. But he's wrong. That's not how we do that.
Brent the programmer. Okay, question about the challenge. I know that we can't have primer showing,
right?
But if I'm painting my model in carbon black and titanium white, what color should I use for primer?
Carbon black and titanium white. So you can use black. Why not?
You can use black, Brent. We'll as long as you explain that, you kind of just told us, right? We trust that you're gonna stick to the challenge, right?
Yeah, I mean,
we know you have to use
the black is a different black primer. What I meant is you can prime it whatever you want. I just can't see the primer adding to your model, so you can't use speed paints.
Yeah.
Right, and have your paints be really a mix of 4 colors because your primer color is showing through and all that stuff. You have to use 2 colors. So you cover your primer up with an opaque. You can prime it in red if you want, as long as I can't see any of the red or know that the red that you glazed over it to get your other colors.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. The spirit is that you're using 2 colors, a very monochromatic or duochromatic, if that's a term, right? Because if you pick like blue and magenta, you're going to get some crazy colors from mixing, right? So it's going to be more than monochromatic, but it is a very limited palette in the sense that, picking a bright color and a dark color here and then mixing them to get all of your in-betweens is going to be the key.
Yeah.
And really stretch your knowledge of how powerful 2 colors can be is the goal.
Kyle says, I'm listening. You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
I'm not wrong.
I'm going to let you guys handle that separately.
What am I wrong about?
About the purple?
Oh, he's wrong about the purple and the pink. No, he's a traitor, which he knows is true. And because he's painting Emperor's Children. Hello?
Oh, well, wait a second.
Heroes don't paint Emperor's Children.
Wait a second. Wasn't there a point, though, when they were good guys?
No.
No? Really?
No.
I don't know my lore. Hey, Hoosier. Thank you so much.
Nope.
We appreciate that sub. And Chaos Angel and Blood Walrus as well. Thank you.
They're all horrible, horrible
Tim,
heretics.
you have 160 stream streak.
Horrible, horrible heretics. That's all they are. All they are. I won't listen to anything else.
What's your favorite heretic army?
The dead one?
Oh, great question. Great question by Chris.
I do not paint heretics.
Do you not?
I do not know.
You paint heretics.
I definitely do not.
Isn't Death Guard heretics?
Yes.
We just don't count that one. And by we, I mean Jason. Crusader era Emperor's Children.
Okay, so let
Oh,
me make a statement.
arrogant.
I
but
will
good.
paint any model for rule of cool.
Oh.
I will not paint an army to play of heretics.
Oh, okay. So you won't play heretics, but you'd paint heretics.
I mean, I painted Horus,
That's true.
so
That's true.
right.
And he's in the books,
arch
right?
heretic himself. I think he's in that story.
I think
That's
I
called
think he
the
might
Horus heresy,
be. Yeah,
right?
might be.
Oh, you know what? Let's just use this. Then I don't have to mix. Haha, I forgot. We'll just use this instead.
Rust. Gilmborn says, "Did you see the MIT students were trying to determine how much a rainbow weighs? They did tons of tests to determine the weight of all those photons, but in the end, they couldn't quantify the weight. But they could say with confidence rainbows are pretty light." Which button?
That's a lot of effort. That was literally a lot of effort and build up for that delivery. I don't know.
You're channeling your inner Papa Chicken.
I don't know.
Gilmborn.
I don't know if I can give that a nod or a giggle. I don't know if that's worth it.
Kyle says, "Well, he got me there. I like bad guy armies."
He likes bad guy armies.
Jason is so faithful, and he paints a heretic. They become loyal, says Game Delay.
That's the way that works.
Ooh.
I know that Death Guard don't want to be. Well, half of them do. Typhus is an idiot.
I love how personal that felt.
Oh, yeah, it should.
Like you've known Typhus for a long time.
Mortarion, they get you in the fields with Mortarion.
Oh.
He just had to do what he did to save his legion.
Oh.
So in that regard, that one's a tough one.
It's like
But-
Papa Nurgle.
But still heretics.
Our Death Guard are the Nurgle people, right?
Yes.
You like how I said that? Everybody's just rolling their eyes in chat. Oh, Chris, of course they are. They look like Nurgle.
Death Guard is Nurgle.
Super Bleeder. 18 months. Thank you so much.
In the early days, though, Plague Marines, and still today,
Yeah.
Plague Marines are not just Death Guard,
Oh.
right? Because some of the Fallen turned into Plague Marines.
Okay.
The Dark Angels, there's novels that have you catching all sorts of other chapters or legions that have turned into Plague Marines, because Plague Marine is just one that's fallen to Nurgle. So they come from various legions.
Okay.
So that's hard to keep up with, because I think in terms of it being Nurgle.
Oh, because Death Guard.
And Death Guard, because Death Guard all went to Nurgle.
Okay, got it.
But there are other Plague Marines from other legions.
That just got the plague.
Well, that just fell to Nurgle as well.
Shaker says, "How do you paint a flame? From darker to lighter colors, or from lighter to darker colors?"
Lighter to darker. Remember that a flame is lighter at its core. Where you would normally paint a shape like that dark, it will be light, and it will be light where another, or it will be dark where another shape would be light. So it's darker towards the tips of a flame.
Yeah.
Because a flame is brighter at its ignition source or close to it. Depends on the chemical that's burning, or the composition of the material that's burning. But they all, if you look at the various flame shapes, they all kind of highlight and get the brightest close to the inner body of that flame shape. And then the external spots get darker. Doesn't mean they have to go to like soot black, but they become whatever the darkest color you want to use is. So it's the thing you have to stand on its head, and it'll always be one of those situations if you paint it differently. And you see a lot of people that paint flame backwards.
Zilfer says, "Speaking of which, any suggestions for a Death Guard armor workup using the normal, regular Pro Acryl line?"
Death Guard armor?
Yeah.
Shoot him the bruised white methodology.
Oh, yes.
That's my choice. I don't like the green armor, so I don't. I mean, with our dark yellow green, faded green kind of workup, you could do some wonders if you like the green Death Guard armor. I do not personally like the green Death Guard armor.
The full green. Oh, yeah.
Because it makes it look too much like mud once you weather it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the white, dirty white armor that then you can weather and get a lot more effect out of. So the bruised white armor is the way that I
There
paint
it
mine.
is.
And it turns out like this. Move.
What are you looking for?
Mm.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, sorry. He was turned weird. Like this.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I love that workup. Here's that methodology he's speaking about, by the way.
Right. So this is purple, jade, olive flesh, and then a lot of weathering. And then the green is dark yellow, green, yellow, green.
That green, I love that green.
Yeah. That's just dark yellow, green, yellow, green.
Nice.
That's the way I paint all my Death Guard.
I think about painting more painting from the inside out of light to dark or vice versa.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Q-Loon. I think about painting from the inside out instead of light to dark or vice versa. Are you asking that? Maybe restate your question for me, Q.
What does inside out mean versus light to dark?
Right.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Gilborn says, when I got home, my son showed mom his model like 8 times, showing off his work. It was adorable how proud he was. Gilborn,
Nice. That is awesome.
It was so nice to meet Connor.
That's
Shout out.
awesome. Connor, your son?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. How old is Connor?
Yeah, Gilborn. How old was he?
Thanks for coming out to that.
13. Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
right in that wheelhouse where that's really cool.
It's time.
Being able to make something happen with paint feels really good.
Yeah. Yep.
To the question of painting inside to outside, yes, but that's a different thing than dark to light. Painting dark to light is always going to help you more. Whether you paint inside to outside or not is irrelevant. That's a structure of where it's easier to put the paintbrush and has less to do with value and creation of shadows and such, right? That's like paint the skin before you paint the shirt that goes over the skin, if I'm hearing you right.
Q said it was a response to painting the flames, and inside out is just low layers to topmost layers compared to distance from center. Gotcha.
Yeah, if it's a simple flame, then yeah. But typically, you're gonna if you're painting that way, you're painting bright to dark, because the most effective way to paint a flame is not to start with a dark color like normal, and then go towards your bright. It's to start bright and move towards your dark, and then alternate back and forth. But it's all subjective. It's what works for you.
Okay, cool. It says, have you ever tried Noosh with one step, wondering if it would produce neat effects?
No, do not. Typically, I would say don't mix mediums. You would not mix Noosh with glaze wash medium. They do different things.
Yeah.
So they fight each other for which one is going to take effect. Remember that one step is its own medium trying to do its own thing. Yeah. Some of that is similar to what Noosh is trying to do, and so it's a waste of product. Build for the effect. Now, can you try it? Sure, you can try it and see what you get. But I don't think that I see any benefit there, because if you're looking for a longer open time, which Noosh provides for the one-step paint, it probably just already does what you want it to do as Noosh, as just plain Noosh, and then you're not wasting. Can you add Noosh to one-step paints? Sure. I don't know that I see a big benefit there. But again, I'm a fan of playing around with stuff, right? Try it. See what you get.
That's definitely what I've been doing with one step. I tried out the dark green last night on a quick stone workup, which came out pretty good.
The thing with it is that, one step is trying to move physically on the model in a particular way. Noosh does not move that way.
Yeah.
So by putting Noosh into one step, you've now eliminated what one step is for. You still get a less opaque paint that now works like a Noosh paint would, but you could just pick the opaque color and add it to Noosh and be fine. Which I think would work better because you would get more vibrancy quicker. But again, play around with it, see. I just want to make sure everybody understands why mediums exist. You don't really go into a world, and I'm not saying this is a rule, because again, art is freedom and chaos. Do what you want with it. But I don't find myself grabbing a thickening medium and a thinning medium and putting them together.
Like, why would you?
Because one thickens and one thins, so when you thicken and thin at the same time, does the world end? It just doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Because they do similar things, but are looking to go in opposite directions of usability. And so if you're putting them together, might you get something that's cool to do that specific thing you're doing, and then you do it all the time? Sure. And that's why I say always test it and see. But don't go into it with some preconceived notion of it being the way to get to something super cool. You might stumble upon something, but I wouldn't. I don't typically mix mediums other than varnish with other mediums to either add gloss or matte to another effect, right? So varnishes are the thing that stand outside that equation just a little bit.
Stan says, I've heard it's how you create mini black holes.
Yes. Yeah, the universe collapses in on itself, reaches heat death quicker.
Gilborn, our bottles fully seal, actually.
Yeah.
So when you actually fly with them and then you land, make sure you crack the bottle before opening the top. Just
like
from
this.
The pressure, yeah.
Like this. Think of it as a Coke can that you've mistakenly shaken up, right? Where you would twist the top and let it...
Yeah.
Right? Just twist the top here and let that air build up, evacuate without pushing paint out. Because in the nozzle, if you've used the paint, there's paint in the nozzle pretty much all the time. And that extra air buildup happens below the paint because it's sealed. And so the paint being thicker doesn't always have the ability to drip down and replace the air. So when you open it, that air wants to escape, and it'll take what little bit of paint is trapped in the nozzle and push it out. So if you do this, you let the air escape without pushing the paint out, and then tighten it back up and then open the nozzle. See, just like that.
Yep.
And I got the bubble because I trapped more air in there, but no paint, right? So it didn't just explode paint out. I don't want that color. Why did I do that? I want this color.
And you were just using rust on the top of those heads, right?
Just the top of the head. That's the
Got
only
it.
thing I use it for. The only thing I have is the top of the heads and the little doohickeys that people are holding.
What's a doohickey?
So it's a hickey that doos.
Oh. It's
It
the first
doos.
time in my adult life that I've heard someone explain it that way.
I mean, it's literally in the name, Chris.
It is. I hear it now.
It's like you shouldn't have to ask how to cook a grilled cheese.
You put it in the oven, right? Right?
You bake a grilled cheese? Like if you ever go to a restaurant that says we serve baked grilled cheese.
Wait a second. Isn't it just baked cheese at that point? Isn't it a baked cheese?
Can you just leave that restaurant? Like I feel like you just leave that restaurant. I don't
It's a
feel like
baked
that.
cheese. We can't even say grilled baked cheese because it's just speaking of little mini black holes.
Mini black holes. Let's just stay away from black holes. How about that? I did a really bad job of covering this guy's helmet here. I'm going to go back to the dark blue black real quick.
Doohickeys is what happens when the date goes well, says Wad. Whoa!
Wad
Calm
really
down.
has a hang up with sexual innuendos.
Everybody calm down. Cool off, Wad. We're excited to see you, by the way. We're excited to see all of you. It's going to be a great time.
Are we though?
And I'm not even talking about Adepticon. I'm talking about everybody coming to Monument Hobby Studios and next year.
Are we though?
Are you?
Am I what?
Are you excited?
Am I excited?
Yeah.
About Adepticon?
No, just in general, for life.
Oh, yes, always.
Oh, yes, and Adepticon, too.
But especially Adepticon.
Groucho, thank you so much for that sub. Jason, I tried to count yesterday how many times Gabe asked Chris to send her up, but I started recess shading and stopped counting. It was a lot, though, so don't take Chris's crap.
Well, you got to understand, Chris
do
is
it in a
not
very-
a trained professional on the paint side.
This is true.
And one of the things that I love that I told Gabe this morning after
boy.
watching the stream last night is that one of Chris's greatest attributes on stream when he's painting is that he attacks everything with such a great newness and
Yeah.
excitement. I love that about you.
I-
Is that when you get to it, you're just having fun.
Yeah.
And that is exemplary of what painting is all about.
I
Sit down and
enjoy
don't
it.
get caught in the weeds and do what. Just ask yourself, what would Chris do? Because Chris,
I
you're
enjoy it.
awesome in that regard. You were just. I
appreciate
was
it.
watching you, paint goblins and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, Like when you're dry brushing them, you're just like, it's so great.
I know Gabe over here's listening to me talk to myself, but I very much enjoy painting
The process.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was great. But yeah, he's not a trained professional about sitting on cam. And I don't know that you really can be, right?
Well,
because there's no tape X that makes sense because we're moving around so much.
No, and Jason has been doing this, remember, for 9-10 years.
10 years, yeah,
so
this is year 10.
You can't it is what it is, chat. I probably retrospectively should have taken them all off my little painting sticks, but I was trying to
well, no, I mean
batch paint them.
I mean the painting stick is a good idea. When you're taking them off, just always grab them by the base.
Wasn't
I know that's late, but always grab them by the base. Don't grab miniatures by the miniature once you've painted them, because you can tear the paint off with the oils on your fingers.
Plus, even when I was trying to peel them from the base, it's because I had put glue on the bases, the rocks. So they were really on there. And I'm like, I just couldn't control my hands enough either. So I definitely learned from that yesterday. But it's fun. It was a good time. I like playing around.
He doesn't play games, though. So this is a very misleading message that Chris gets.
On paper, I should play Middle-earth strategy game more often.
Yes.
On paper.
Why?
I did like my trolls that I did. I liked that.
Uh-huh.
I might get another Ent army because I had those for Sylvaneth, but I'd rather have the actual.
Oh, that's right.
Ents.
You used the Lord of the Rings one for Sylvaneth.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I might go back and purchase those again because that Treebeard model is probably one of my favorite models of all time. So
I thought the other ones are better. Some of the other ones. Didn't they just come out with a couple of new ones?
They did. I know. They're just so expensive, man. It's like $100.
Welcome to Games Workshop.
$100, dude. I'm like, I have three Ents, and it's gonna cost me almost $400.
What?
Yeah, dude. With tax and shipping, because you need to buy a separate Ent.
Well, no, they don't charge shipping once you order enough.
Let's see. Actually,
$100.
Maybe. Let me double check. I take that all back if it's that expensive.
I don't think it's that.
The new one is $100.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's see. They came back in stock too, chat. Oh, that's how they get you, bastards. Oh,
Chris is fighting his inner nerd right now. He's like, wait a minute, they're in stock, damn it.
Birchseed the Ent, which they changed from Quick Beam, which I thought was very interesting. Very interesting.
Why would they do such a thing?
Lost the rights to something.
Uh-oh.
I bet.
Really? Quick Beam is no longer included in their license? I
was very curious on why they took the name away.
That is very strange, huh?
And then they have Beachbone and Birchseed. Birchseed's $103. Beachbone's $98. Treebeard is $89. And just a regular Ent is $53. And I need that. I need one Ent, those two heroes, and Treebeard, and Merry and Pippin to complete the whole set.
Wait, okay, but yeah, that's like what, $400 and something for a whole list?
I guess that's true. Oh, and they're resin. Let's see. Like I said, on paper, I should be liking this game. And it's about $350.
And you've got goblins.
I do.
So why don't you just play with your Goblin Town goblins all the time?
I could. I also have the trolls, Jason.
Yeah.
I also have Smaug too.
Oh Jesus.
Technically. Why am I not playing this game? Is that you, Gabe?
It's Chris, just play the game.
I should. Gabe, do you need help? Yeah, that was a trick question. I'm not helping you. I'll help him later.
What's he doing?
He's grabbing all of the stuff I packed this morning.
Oh, that's right. Adepticon stuff ships tomorrow.
Yeah, after this, I'm going over there and we're getting it all finalized. I packed up all of the camera bits. And we have HDMI cables. Let me tell you. I packed very thoroughly today. Chat, you'd be proud of me. I like a good pack sesh. You know, Jason?
Well, I told Gabe that you were in charge of packing up the booth when we're done.
Me?
Because it looks like you're the only one. I would put you up there as the only one who could do that job.
Bing, 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 ding, ding, ding. I could do that. We'll figure it out.
You're like the Tetris master, and it looks like that's what that needs.
Dude, yes. You should see how my one singular plastic box has been packed. 3 lights, bunch of HDMI cables, all the power you could need. It's going to be great. I do like packing. Frigid says, I have a question about One Step. With Shadow Flesh, how can I brighten it up so the skin is not so dark and more pinky flesh? Should I use olive flesh first or pink, or should I be thinning the Shadow Flesh to cut some opacity?
You can thin the Shadow Flesh for sure.
Yeah. That's what I did yesterday, Frigid.
Works really well.
Now, Jason,
Sure.
I actually have a question about One Step.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I don't know how to explain this or what it does. What would be the benefit of adding more special sauce to One Step versus adding water?
None.
None? Okay.
Nah.
It's not really...
So, again, the special sauce, there's such low viscosity that I'm prone to say no benefit.
Okay.
The biggest thing is that special sauce still has resin in it. Okay, so when thinning paint, one of the most important questions you need to ask is, are you thinning its ability to adhere to the surface? Because if you just use water and you're not super confident, you can overcome the resins and then it becomes brittle. Yeah. Because when you add special sauce to One Step, special sauce still has resin. When it dries, it's still acrylic paint drying.
Okay.
Water doesn't. When water, it just evaporates.
Right.
So the water thins it, gives you the lowered opacity, but it also spreads the acrylic out more and forms a lesser bond on the model surface. Whereas if you use mediums like glazed wash medium or One Step medium with One Step, then you're adding acrylic paint to acrylic paint. It's just one of them doesn't have color, so it keeps the bond the same.
Okay.
Right?
That's what I was
Does that make sense?
trying to figure out. Yes. Give me 1 second.
No, one. Done.
Oh, sorry.
You said 1 second. Time doesn't work that way, Chris. So yeah, that's the difference, and that's something you can take to the bank with regards to any mediums and when to use them, is that a medium is always the initial best bet to thin paint, because you will still remain with the same strength of coating that you would have otherwise. It'll just be more see-through if you're diluting it for opacity. Water, on the other hand, makes the paint runnier, can make it not adhere as well, but if you're good with it, water's quick and obviously has very low cost associated with it. So I'm a miser, so I tend to use a lot of water to thin my paint because of that, rather than immediately go into the medium, even though I get medium, all of it for free. I know.
Make sure you lock that gate, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe, make sure you lock that gate.
He says, good luck out there, son. It's a rough world.
It is a rough world.
Thank you.
Only made rougher by not locking that gate.
Yeah, dude. People test it. Seen them test it.
I mean, I test that gate.
Sorry, everybody. I just wanted to make sure he was getting everything he needed. I am the definition of sorry.
Why is he back?
Welcome in, everybody.
Hello.
I am back.
Welcome back, Chris. How the heck are you?
I'm great. I am doing great.
How the heck are you, Chris?
We're doing excellent and exceptional.
Phantasmal, would you say?
No.
Oh.
No. Not phantasmal. Fantastic.
What does it take to get you to phantasmal?
A fifth of scotch, that's what.
Well, fancy that. Look what I have in my pocket.
Fancy that. This is whiskey.
Look what I have in my pocket, Chris.
I don't drink on the job.
Is that a fifth of whiskey, or are you just happy to see me?
I'm happy to see somebody. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, if you are going to Adepticon, we're so excited to see you. Make sure you bring a mini. He's
excited to see you.
I just like seeing people's stuff. And please don't clip that. Let me rephrase. I like seeing your model. Wait a minute. I like seeing stuff. Put paint on model.
Somebody clip this entire thing and use it as blackmail.
Oh, no.
Please.
I like to see your miniature. I mean...
I love when he has to play the sounds for his own antics.
I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, you know what I've been watching? One of
What's
those sounds reminded me. Your sounds have lately been very visceral and reminding me of things I've been doing in my normal life, which is very scary when you really think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so last week, we do our annual anniversary lunches, and I think I mentioned this. I took Jacob and Gabe's brother, Jesse. I took them out to their anniversary lunches last week.
Right.
And Jacob and I wound up talking about Gundam quite a bit.
Okay.
Because he's big into the Gundam card game right now.
Yeah.
And so we started talking, and I was like, I've never been a big Gundam fan. It wasn't something that was available for me. I had Star Blazers, which was, Space Cruiser Yamato.
Yeah.
I had Star Blazers. I had Robotech, which was the Macross series stuff that had been Americanized.
Okay.
Not much in the world of anime had been localized to English when I was a kid.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Because we're talking about the 70s and early 80s. And there just wasn't a lot of that around. But, as I grew up, I had seen some of the Gundam, so I remembered some of it. Gundam Wing, I think, was the first one that came over here. But I had seen the Gundam movie very early on in my life. And it just never really stuck with me for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of the weird school boy and girl love affair culture that Japan has with anime.
Okay.
With like young boys falling in love all over head over heels over young girls and stuff. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't appeal to me.
I gotcha.
So that's heavily rooted in all of Gundam, because Gundam is all about like child slave labor and child warrior and death, and it's a very dark series in a lot of points.
Yeah. I had no idea.
But it caused me to go home that night and start looking at the Gundam timeline, because he and I talked about, like, I don't even know how to watch Gundam because it has a bajillion things that are they have a multiverse. So they have different timelines that are not, they have the same characters, but different storytelling. So it's a multiverse. It's like in this timeline, these things happened. In this timeline, the same people did exactly the opposite things, and it all came out differently. So there are various tellings of the same story in a bunch of cases. And so I went on to YouTube and wound up, and Google, and wound up Googling like the Gundam timeline. And okay, well, what is the good watch, for an adult in 2026? And it pointed me towards Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Okay. What a name.
Anybody out there a Gundam maniac and know this show? Because I want to tell you, if you want dark, freaking storytelling, watch Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Just the name.
I'm actually really enjoying it. I don't know what that speaks to my character as, because it's being a very good series, and I'm on like episode 7 or something like that. It's brutal.
How did this little sound box cue you?
Well, there was a sound on there that was like, yay, with kids, because it's all got anime kids. Because again, it's all about child slavery and child labor and child warriors, and Iron-Blooded Orphans is exactly what it sounds like. It's these orphans who literally don't give a damn.
Wow.
And it's brutal. Like, brutal.
It sounds wild.
So, anyway.
There it is.
I've been doing that.
Bunch of nerds in here, says Chuck. Hey, you're talking to yourself.
Did you smell us from outside?
I don't know what to tell you, Chuck. I just hope you bring your model.
Chuck's a nerd. Chuck's the biggest nerd. Because he's a nerd that also rides his bicycle everywhere.
Chuck, you're a bicycle rider with your little
Have you
Battletech?
seen the 40-year-old version? Because Chuck's the guy at the bar that's going to want to put his bike in your trunk.
Chuck, I can't wait to see your model. All right, enough of that. Enough of that business. Blood Walrus has a question.
Hello.
I'm going back up here. Blood Walrus was asking, what's the main differences between one step and the other traditional? What's the main distinguisher between that and the traditional contrast / speed paints?
Look at this model, and it answers all your questions. This is one coat of one step color on each of these pieces. It is matte finish. It has a smoother finish on it, so it doesn't clump up and give you weird blotchy textures, right? This is literally what you get. And I have not done anything special here except paint on the model. That's it. This is over a dark purple and taupe undercoat, so not even black and white. This isn't the highest contrast you could make. Black and white would give me even more shading and more highlight. This is just purple and taupe. And it is everything you want to paint to be. It is if it's the Pro Curl version of contrast paint. What if you had somebody paying attention to making a fine art quality paint that had the effect of what people want in a speed paint? That's what One Step is. It gives you the ability to glaze, filter, get the contrast effect on your first coat, all of that, but done in a way that gives you a very high quality finish, and a way that will grow with you and not just be a beginner paint, right? So that if you choose to grow out of it or, determine that, that kind of slapping paint on there for your base coat isn't your thing, you'll still wind up using these paints for lots of stuff.
Chuck, what do you mean you're not bringing a model?
Remember, he said he wasn't. Jade is.
Jade is. Figure it out.
Do you listen to these people,
I do.
Chris?
Figure it out, Chuck.
Because I listen to Chuck.
Life is nothing short of bouncing from one disappointment to the next. Chuck, I won't accept this as reality. I know what you said, and false. The answer is incorrect. You did not pass that test.
Chuck, if you were to come and bring a model and put it in the case, I'd give you something just for the effort.
What do you... Jade says, I'm trying. He's being very encouraging to me to get mine done.
Good.
That's good. Good. Keep that up, Chuck.
Hey, you know what Upchuck is?
Upchuck is what Chuck's about to get.
A bad night at the bar.
Speaking of Upchuck, Chuck, bring a model.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could upchuck wood?
I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in you, because that would be very visceral and angry. But
that's the way it feels from this side of the table, Chuck. I don't know what to tell you. I
I'm
love you.
just saying, Chuck.
I love you, and I'm going to be excited to
should.
see whether you have a model in your hand or not.
You should. We will be excited to see you, but maybe.
But maybe
like 5% less.
5% less excited because you didn't bring a model?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
love how your relationships are just all value based on like that
numbers.
transactional side.
It's all a numbers game.
All right. Life
does number go up or go down? Chuck says, I'm definitely bringing models to play games with.
Don't play with Chris.
Yeah.
Aren't you bringing Moonstone, Chuck?
Yes. Game Delay's bringing Moonstone too.
Is Chuck have Moonstone?
I think so. Chuck, do you have Moonstone?
It was Game Delay I was thinking of. I remember Game Delay saying he wanted to play a Moonstone. So yeah, the whole shtick with these is that I'm bringing an entire army that just has one coat of One Step on it, and I'm not going to do anything else with it. So it makes it easy for me to paint an entire army, obviously, but I really want to showcase the ability to really get this to go much further on your models than a normal paint of this type would. Just by virtue of how well it works, how matte the finish is.
Game Delay's going to try to teach Moonstone. Okay. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a great game.
It's a British company that makes it, right? That's the only game they make?
I think so.
I think.
No dice. It's fun.
It was fun to watch. Like I said, it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't think I would play it.
It is a very, what's it called? The beer and pretzels kind of game.
Yeah, it's not very competitive. I mean, you can be competitive with it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but it doesn't appeal to me in the sense of wanting to sit down and put a lot of effort into playing it. But the models are rad.
Yeah.
I love the rule of cool for the models. I would paint lots of them. I want to order... if they're going to have models there, it's going to be great. Because I want to get the...
I think they will.
The Donkey Knight.
The donkey.
I want to get the Donkey.
Donkey Knight?
Yeah, he's a knight that's a donkey. It might be new, but it's a really cool model.
Chuck says, I'm hoping to have my Conquest army ready for the show, but
awesome.
Not quite there. So you're bringing so many models, Chuck.
I was going to say, he's bringing like
what
armies
What
worth.
are you doing?
You can't find one of those to put in the case? Really?
Son of a gun. That's all right.
I'm bringing 800 painted models and not a single one's going in the case at Monument Hobbies.
Joel B says, how many colors can you use on storing like stone before they start to get lost It just hit me that I use 7 and it seems excessive.
I guess it really all depends, right? Anytime you're painting anything, you can go crazy, right? You can do 16 colors to paint skin. Will you see each of those colors at the end? No, not likely. But you'll get a nuanced color over the entire stone or skin or whatever you're painting. You'll get enough of a nuanced color that it'll make it worth having done that, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That's what he says when he's not paying attention, chat.
No, I'm
He's not
putting a
paying
bunch of
any attention
emojis.
at all.
Chuck said, "Fine, one model."
Chris is still paying attention to Chuck.
I'm just making sure, keeping Chuck accountable.
But yeah, you'll see me use a lot more colors to pull off a particular effect than you would actually say. And I'll get a lot of comments sometimes that say, "Hey, what's the use of putting yellow underneath, a color if you're not going to see the yellow?" And I'm like, well, that's kind of the point. I don't want to see the yellow. I want to see a warmer version of the color I put on top. So maybe I paint a yellow and then a green, and I get a warmer green out of it, but you'd never know I painted yellow underneath it. That's kind of the point, right? Is that it's giving you the ability to create a lot of color that you might not otherwise have by layering, underpainting, all the things we do as artists. And
Yeah.
I'm all for it, right? So don't get lost in the what's too much. Ask yourself at each stage, was this color valuable putting it on, or did I not get any benefit from it? Because you may find yourself putting a color on a model that you're like, man, that was a waste. I do that all the time. When we do test models for painting armies, right, I'll do a workup and I might be like, dark purple, jade, umber, like light umber, and then olive flesh on those plague marines that I paint. And then when I get it all done, it looks good, but in my mind, I know that the light umber was useless because the olive flesh did everything I wanted the umber to do. So I could remove the umber for speed later on. Yeah. So that's what I'm always thinking about is every step useful? And you are the only one that knows that because you'll see the effect it has. And you can start comparing it to when you didn't do that color or that paint effect, and did you get the same result at the end? Because like if you use 7 colors, I think you mentioned on stone, and it looks really good, and then you do another one where you only use 4 of those colors, but it doesn't look as good, then go back to the 7.
Yeah. There you go.
And it really just is a matter of how important is it to you to save time versus, that extra look. Because I don't know that I could guarantee every time I use, 16 colors on flesh were they all necessary. Sometimes I don't care. I use 16 colors, it looks good, done. And that's the only conversation that has to happen. So don't get too hung up on it. There's no right and wrong. We always say there's as many ways to paint as there are painters, and that's not a lie. You can do it one way. You can listen to somebody else who tells you, dude, you used way too much color on that. And you can be like, yeah, but you know what? This turned out so rad, and I'm happy it did. And then that's great.
Derpstick says, how do you usually paint plasma coils? Make the coils brighter and then the recesses darker, or the opposite?
I typically do the coils darker and the recesses brighter. Yeah.
Dude, that next white that's coming out is going to be perfect for plasma coils.
So that's how I do it.
The Cube, what were you saying? Does the medium work well with transparency? Are you talking about one step? Clarify which medium.
One step medium works great with all colors. Definitely the transparents, but
Ghost Hunter, Jason teased the other white doing the goblin skin the other day. That's a very fun color.
What? I didn't do goblin skin.
Yes, you did.
You did.
No, you did. The green.
Oh, the green. Yeah.
That goblin green.
Oh, I just added it in to brighten that up. Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
You teased us, Jason.
I did. Yes, I did.
I was saying that
tease you.
That would be amazing for plasma coils. Honestly, one step with bold titanium white would be fun for plasma coils. The base.
That's what I was saying. Is that the one step medium will make paints flow like oil washes, which I think people are going to have a lot of fun with. Obviously, you don't get the open time, so they won't give you the ability to subtract like Noosh does. But they're the other side of what Noosh doesn't do. Noosh won't make paint flow like an oil wash. One Step does.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to get paint that does like panel lining and really crazy effects on it that still gives you good vibrancy, that I think will be a lot of fun. And then titanium white in the One Step medium will be able to do plasma coils like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see people start using it in that manner.
What Cuban's saying, how does the One Step work with transparents?
What do you mean, how does it work?
Like, what is there any benefit? Is it
Sure.
What would that do?
Well, it turns all the transparents into One Step paints.
There you go.
Remember, the transparent paints are just paint. They don't do anything special other than be see-through. So they don't flow on the model like a wash. They don't, lay in deeper tones in the shadows. Nothing. They're just paint. You put them on, they stay there. It's good. They just are see-through from the beginning and all single pigment colors, right? So they are basically, they're the liquid version of our expert acrylics, if you want to think of it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because you have like phthalo blue, phthalo green, single pigment colors in them.
Sigovac says, I'm excitedly nervous for Adepticon, my first entry to a competition, hoping for some valuable feedback to build on. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're going to get a ton.
If you all aren't aware, obviously you've been seeing all of the announcements. Obviously we posted the schedule last week. There are so many artists at our booth this year, and they're all excited to be there.
26?
There's 24 total.
Okay.
And it's just, there's going to be feedback sessions.
John Minas finally answered. We emailed him, he didn't respond to us, and then when we posted all the artists, he hadn't responded, and he goes, oh, like he's bummed that he didn't get invited, but he did. So maybe we can even con him to come hang out for a bit.
Yeah.
Because he's acting like he's all
John
passed over. So John,
you're out there.
You're out there.
I know you're out there lurking. Come visit. Come hang out.
But
yeah, this is going to be Sigovax. I'm telling you, this is an amazing way to test. I guess I would say this is the best way to get yourself into con mode for competitions.
100%.
Like, this is the place. Obviously, this is just the teaser this year for next year's challenge, but this is the way to practice. Plus, we're giving away a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and realize, even if you don't feel confident putting a model in the case, you can bring that model by to talk to the judges about it and say, hey, this is where I'm at. I would love to enter the competition next year when we do the big challenge.
Yeah.
What do I need to be focused on, do you think, that would make my painting better? Because you have people here that will shoot you as straight as I do and give you a lot of really good ideas.
Yeah.
People like Chistov and the crew, Lucas Zaba, the entire crew that are going to be there, Vince Venturella, they all have different paint styles, but they all know what it takes to win competitions. And they've been on that journey themselves. None of them were born winning trophies. They've all had to struggle to find their way and get their style together and find out what's comfortable to them that also appeals to judges. And so they have really invaluable assets to type in or to get, applied to you for your style. Say, oh, and you'll be able to listen in to some extent on other people getting feedback. I don't know how much you'll be able to listen in. It depends on how private the conversations get, but the area is open enough to where you'll be able to listen in on other people getting feedback too, which I think will be really interesting.
T. Schmidt says, do we need a title for our entries?
No.
Title?
No. You get a ticket that has a number on it and all that, so we take care of your entry being in there and being applied to you, so you don't have to have it titled or anything.
Titling is just fun, T. Schmidt.
Some people, when they make models, will call it, New Hope.
Oh,
or
dude.
Whatever.
Yeah, you got to have a title, Jason.
No.
I'm so into title when it comes to, like, my, specifically Earthworm Jim.
You know what my title is?
What's that?
Chris, you're fired.
That's a great title.
All of my minis are called
That
Chris,
actually
you're fired 1, Chris,
will be
you're fired
awesome.
2, Chris, you're fired 3.
I don't know. It just ties the theme into a diorama in my mind. Right.
It can if there's something it needs to be. I like actually the story all being told without any of that.
Okay.
I honestly think that leaving language out is the real strength of visual arts.
Okay. Yeah.
And so do it and let people walk away with their own storytelling, right? They can tell where you were headed. They can make up their mind. I had a big conversation because obviously politics and art is a big conversation piece.
Yeah.
In our miniature world right now. And I had to tell people, like, yeah, we'll take anything that people want to do as long as it's artwork. I said, now I'm not going to say that something is anything but lazy advocacy if it just shows something dumb.
Yeah.
But it needs to be thought provoking, right? The idea of art is to provoke thought, whether
Yeah.
it's in music and writing and visual forms of like paint or drawing. It needs to be something that talks to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So if you're going to argue a point, argue both sides of the point in art. It's a very strategic and hard thing to do, and it is super hard, which keeps most artists being lazy when they do stuff like that. And I apply that to things like dioramas. Like if I have to say, Tiger's End, and I paint a tiger tank that's getting blown up, it's like kind of, if I do it right, it already tells you that
see.
the thing is done. So
Malev says, New Hope is Jason's one-step army.
this one, right? There's new hope that I finish something is what it is.
A somewhat new hope.
Where are all these damn tactical rocks that Dallas loves so much?
Tactical rocks.
He is the king of the tactical rock.
He likes tactical
He
rocks?
loves tactical
Why
rocks.
is that?
I do have to ask him.
Tactical.
I will not argue that point for Dallas.
Jason, are you a fan of the tactical rock?
No. I don't mind them on stuff like this where they're running and you need more contact space on the base so that it isn't like you said where it's just a really
yes.
thin ankle holding it on. That I love.
Yeah.
I always joke, because like in the Marvel Crisis Protocol world, there's just a tremendous amount of tactical rocks. Like you've got the lizard popping up out of a manhole cover, and as you're moving the model across the table, a manhole cover moves with him, which makes no sense. It's totally disturbing to me. But that's my form of art. I don't like that. It's like Spider-Man on I think Miles Morales is jumping over like a newspaper thing, right? Yeah. And I'm like, well, now the newspaper stand is part of the character that moves around the battlefield. It just irks me to no end. I'm like,
that is
funny.
But
it's fun. It's still, as a miniature, makes it a miniature diorama, which is super rad.
Yeah.
It's only when you put it on the table and play with it that I really start being like, come on, dude. It's why you don't see me paint models where I have a dead model with the model a lot, because it locks you in. Like if you paint your Night Lord stomping on Imperial Fists, and then you play against orcs, it's like, why do you have Imperial Fists all over your bases when you're playing against orcs? It just can never be timely enough, or the one time it is, it's like, that's rad.
Right.
So, hey, could you do me a huge favor?
Yeah.
Could you grab me a bottled water?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here's a question really quick. Read that while I grab the water.
Gilborn says, I'm looking at doing Venom for MCP. My want is to do the highlights the way he was in the 90s cartoon, red from one side, blue from the other, but all black otherwise. Any idea on how I can make this work well? Thinking directional airbrush, but worried that it'll be muddied up too much. If you use something like transparent white, thank you, man. Yeah. If you use something like transparent white to set up that light, that red light from the shadow side, like it was, then that can be really good. And then glaze like pyro red over it. You have to be really good with translucent paint so that it doesn't look like a spilled color. And the transparent white does that very good because it gives you the nuanced grays and doesn't build up to like titanium white. Because if you get too vivid of a red, it works in comic books, but when you put it on a three-dimensional shape, it looks like you got smacked with a bunch of tomatoes. So you got to be really careful on how you do that diffused lighting. I would look at a lot of the pictures of like professional busts that have been in, like the winners at SMC, or at Monte San Savino, where people do that directional lighting and that warm versus cool lighting, and look at how theirs diffuses across the model, where it's never at full opacity, but it gives a really good feel. Now, another thing is, I don't know if these are where these pictures are. If you look at the Cool Mini, no. Yeah, it was Cool Mini or Not that did Marvel United. If you look at the Marvel United models, it's the chibis, right? Yeah. It's the thing that we painted like the Thanos from, right?
Nice.
So it's these guys from Marvel United. If you look at those, they painted all of them in a very similar way, which had the color and then like a turquoise light from the other side. The problem with the way they painted them is they only look good from one angle, because when you turn the model, you'll get a stripe of bright turquoise that looks like a racing stripe. But when you take it and face it in this direction, it looks really rad. So it can still look really good on your MCP models. Just know that from one angle, it's going to look like there's that bright red line. And then as long as you turn it back to the other side and you're happy with it, you get a really cool, functional comic book style brightness of color. Then that can work really well too. It's just very hard, right? Because it doesn't look right from certain angles. Right? Because it's like if you're trying to do a black outline on a model, on a three-dimensional model, how do you do that to make it look comic book style? You can't. Because if I paint into where I get black around the head, and I have to paint a black bar that kind of gives me that outline, well, then when you turn the model to the side, there's a black stripe now. right? It's not the model color anymore. It's just a black stripe. So in 3 dimensions, that stuff doesn't work as well as it should, but there's still really good ways to pull it off. So just look at some examples out there and then just try to recreate them into either they are a very diffused and blended light in the shadows, that's the red, which is, in my opinion, easier to do than the hard line.
Musa says, Jason, can you tell me what your mediums are for and what you can do with them? What is noosh? What is weathering for, and gloss and matte, and so on?
Sure, yeah. Noosh is a subtractive weathering medium, meaning that when you mix it with paint, it gives an extended dry time to paint, which allows it to move around on the model, right? Because usually acrylics, when you put them on, they adhere and they don't move. So they have a very high staining strength, right? You paint them on, you get paint, that's good. If you get paint in the wrong spot, you gotta be super quick to get it off of there with a wet brush or wiping it off, because otherwise it's stained, right? Because it grips and stays and you can't get it off without tearing the paint. So what Noosh does is it kind of alleviates some of that. It makes the paint slide around on the model surface a little bit more, so that like an oil wash, you can put it over the model and then wipe it off. And the aspect of wiping it off forces pigment into recesses, around rivets, shadows, things like that. So it's like they reverse dry brush, right? A dry brush just wants to put bright color on the top surfaces. Noosh, when you put it on and wipe it off, it leaves dark colors in the recesses, right? So it gives it a real gritty feel. That same dreadnought that I showed off, pop in close.
Yeah.
This has been done with noosh, with a black-brown noosh, and you can see how I've done it in a streaking manner. I've used then a rust, which was our burnt sienna, and some a yellow ochre, and streaked them. So I would be able to, with noosh, put a droplet of paint there, and then wipe it with my brush or my finger, and it would streak down the model and thin it out. Right, and then it adheres and it stays. So all of this effect of weathering was done with noosh by either putting on a dot and then wiping it and getting that directional straight, or on this guy, just put the black-brown with noosh all over him. And it had that darkening effect that gave it that really cool, dirty, worn look. So you can do it as a whole model filter. You can do it as a spot filter. It is meant to be an acrylic water-based version of oil filters. Not panel washes like, where you do a panel line with it, but overall filters. It's a method that comes from scale model building, where we would do it on tanks and vehicles to give them that outdoor in the rain, dirt, weathered look, right? So you do an oil filter because it doesn't stain the model. It doesn't turn it brown. It just gives the aspect of like the brown as a film that could wipe off. So that's noosh. And you mix it with any color you like. Glaze wash medium is a thinner that keeps paint feeling like paint, but reduces its opacity. Because when we do glazes and washes, they are other types of filters where you want to see through the color so that you can see the color you're putting it over to. And so glaze wash medium, whereas you can do that with water, but when you do it with water, it thins the paint out and makes the paint run like water, which is hard to control. The glaze wash medium keeps the paint feeling thicker like paint, so that when you paint with it, it just is now more see-through, and you can do it in a more detailed manner. And then when you mix a little bit of water into that mixture, it then turns into a wash because it flows over the surface of the model, but still has a really good acrylic hold, still has a good amount of resin to it, so it dries very well and doesn't wipe off the model, right? So it's a way to turn your normal colors into washes, is really the way to think about it. Because a wash has a different chemical makeup that allows it to flow over the surface of the model and not leave a lot of staining, right? And then the varnishes are just varnishes, right? So you have a matte varnish, which will make paints more matte, so you can mix it with satin paints to reduce the gloss in them. We talk about gloss of amount is really what it all is. Matte paint is just very low gloss. And in order to get low gloss, because most of the pigments and resins and everything are glossy, that's just by nature what they are, right? The chemical components, the oil derivatives that are in there, the glycols and stuff, they just tend to give a glossy finish. So in order to not have paint be glossy, you add a matting agent. And that matting agent takes away the shine because it adds a particulate basically to it that makes light refract in crazy angles on the surface of the model. Science. But it means that the light doesn't bounce back straight to your eye, which makes the paint look matte. And so matte varnish adds that to otherwise shiny paints, which helps matte them out. Or you airbrush it over the top of your paint when you're done painting, and it gives it a matte finish, so that you can get rid of the gloss. Because a lot of times if paint is shiny, it's giving you a false highlight, because the highlight on the shiny painted model is going to be at wherever the direction of the light in the room hits it, not necessarily where the bright spot on the model should have been. Okay? So shiny paint, typically bad, because it's going to make the light in the room have more of an effect on your model than you want. You want people to look at the effort you've put into the model, not that you're in a room with shitty fluorescent lighting, excuse my French, but that fluorescent lighting will make your colors look completely different if they're glossy, right? So that's the reason for matte varnish. You can mix it in with other things to matte them down. It can also act as just a thinner. You can put the matte varnish in your airbrush with colors to thin them down and give them less opacity, but keep them matte and feeling like paint. So there's a lot of crossover with the way mediums do certain things. So you can use multiple mediums. For our glaze wash medium can act as a matting agent as well as the matte varnish does. It just will take more. So sometimes you're using the matte varnish because it gets you there quicker with less material usage. And then gloss varnish is just the same. Our paints are typically ultra matte, and so if you do want them shiny to do like the final edge of a sword or something, then you can add some gloss to it. Or if you're doing water effects and you matte varnish your model and the water effect gets matte, then you can put the gloss varnish over it and it brings it back to clear and shiny. So there's a lot of things. A little bit of gloss varnish on an eyeball makes it shine and make it feel a little bit more realistic. Lips or wet surfaces, things like that. So that's the reason you use your varnishes. And then the new One Step Special Sauce is a medium that is going to turn all of normal acrylic paints, our normal acrylic paints from the ProAcryl line, into contrast paints, basically.
And what does the One Step medium do over the glaze and wash? Can you explain that a little bit more? For someone who doesn't know.
Yeah, so we get the question a lot about what's the difference between your transparent paints and one-step paints. And so that tells me that we haven't done a good job of explaining transparent paints, because transparent paints are just acrylic paint. They operate just like all the other paints. They just have a higher transparency. You can see through them. So they're just like the whole rest of the ProAcryl line. You can just see through them. They're meant to replace inks, right? Because inks have an intense vibrancy, but they're not as strong of an acrylic resin, right? Because they're still made to go over porous surfaces. Most of the acrylic inks out there are meant to be used in pens and airbrushes to be sprayed on fabric or canvas or watercolor paper or things like that, absorbent materials. So when you're painting them on plastic, they don't adhere very well, and they will re-wet and come off in a lot of times unless you varnish over them and do a lot of other steps, which makes them a little bit harder to use. They get a weird sheen to them sometimes. I've always loved using inks and hated using ink, so we made the transparent paints to be a better version of an ink. But it still works like a paint. When you put a brush stroke on the model, it doesn't run everywhere. It just stays where you put it. You can paint freehand with the transparents. They'll just be see-through. So they are just paint that you can see through more than the opaque paints. Okay, that's it, period. What the one-step medium does and what one-step paints do is they bridge that gap between already being see-through like the transparent paints, but moving on the surface like a wash, right? Because they will glide across the three-dimensional surface and gather in the details to give you dimension and a lot more visibility to those details. But they also leave color behind. So when we take our poor troll, where's my poor troll? So when we take our poor troll here, right, we've just put this over white, but you can see every place I put color is more opaque than not, right? It's allowing the white to show through to give brightness and dimension to some of these colors, but overall it's still being have a high tint strength or a high staining capacity over the top of these surfaces, right? So this gray turned his white belly completely gray, but also built up more gray in the detail areas, like right above the belly button, inside the belly button, around all these warts that are on him. So it gives you the effect of a wash, but also colors the whole surface, which washes should not do at this intensity. So they're like more intense washes that you can use with light colors, dark colors, everything, because they have an effect. Like I can do oranges and lots of color because they have a much more vibrant intensity to them. So that's the difference between those and say just a normal wash or using the glazed wash medium with the transparents. We've used that in the past and shown you how you can get a sort of contrast speed paint effect out of that, but they don't have the staining strength that way that you need to really get that dimension. And that's what we've always been fighting, is how can we create that effect, but do it in the ProAcryl way where the paint works the way you expect it to. That's what this whole army that I'm painting is. It's all done just with the one step. So hopefully that answers the question.
That was great. Thank you. Your other troll is right there, by the way. I put it underneath you. It's underneath you, sorry.
See, you didn't put everything back right where it was
forgot
supposed
about
to.
that one.
Huh?
I need to re-prime those trolls for you.
What?
Yeah, they've been through
this beautiful work? This is my magnum opus. You will not reprime him. Look at, I did freehand on him. We painted an Imperial, he's an Imperial Fister.
Oh.
That's the burp.
Yeah, we'll fix those trolls.
My God. All right, so I need to do some dry brushing on the bases. We're getting close to finishing this set of dudes. So what can I dry brush?
Bright neutral gray.
No.
No, too bright?
Maybe. Bright neutral gray's not a bad idea.
Make them pop. Oh.
Yeah, bright neutral gray's... no. Bright warm gray.
Bright warm
So I get a little
gray.
bit more of an earthy tone out of it, right? Because
Gotcha.
bright warm gray gives us a little bit of that kind of putty gray green feel, which I think will be good. Because I'm probably going to use a mix of brown and gray over the top of this.
Yeah.
The graphite gray with the warm brown I think will work really well.
I just forgot. I forgot about bright warm gray.
How do you forget about bright warm gray?
It's
I'm
a
curious.
travesty. I like that one.
I'm curious. How do you forget about?
Speaking of forgetting about, I have to pee.
What?
I have to pee.
You don't get bathroom breaks during streaming.
I have to.
That was written into your contract while you weren't paying attention. This guy. Paid professional, chat. Paid professional. He's still talking to you, by the way, even though you can't hear him. Yeah, he's still talking in the bathroom, talking to you, chat. So there you go. That's how much he loves you. Where do I have where are my dry brushes, chat? Where are my dry brushes? There's one. Ooh, pretty beat up, but that'll still work. That'll still cut the mustard. Is that what that is? Give that man a toilet microphone? No. We are not gonna mic the toilet. That's just not gonna happen. You saw Chris lick one of my brushes? That's it. Fired. That's it. Fired. Who wants to be my producer, chat? Hiring a new producer. The spot is open now. I haven't told HR, but we'll get to that. Right? He's in there screaming in the bathroom now. I don't know that that's a good thing. Oh, he lived. I said, oh, he lived. He survived.
It all came out okay.
It all came out okay.
I think Chris to come home, says Big Bob. That's the first thing. Chris needs a bucket. Yeah.
Needs a Gatorade bottle at his desk. Trucker style.
Just tell HR that Chris wanted a toilet mic. Oh, interesting. Are we ever going to get a bright...
That would be purchasing, by the way.
November says, are we ever going to get a bright, cool gray?
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm
not going to make bright and dark versions of every color in the lineup, I don't think.
Why not, Jason?
Well, because...
We have bright neutral gray, bright warm gray, but where is bright cool gray?
Maybe.
Never say never.
Maybe. Yeah, don't say never with me, because as soon as I tell you we won't make more than 96 colors, you're screwed.
Oh.
Then it's 192. Where did those other 90, however many, come from?
So he says, is it harder to judge miniatures from pro painters where there's only a few things they could do better, or new painters where everything could be better?
It's definitely harder
question.
to judge professional level paint jobs where the nuances are down. I will say it's harder. It's not that it's harder for the judge, I don't think. I think it's harder to have the conversation afterwards about what you and how you judged. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Because a new painter is, or newer, right? Less seasoned, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
Is going to have more things they know they need to learn. Whereas seasoned painters are going to be more prone to being emotionally negative if you tell them something, because of course they're going to tell you that they had a reason for doing everything. Oh, I did that because that was meant to do. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I've had some of my hardest conversations be in discussion of why somebody didn't win when they're a multi-demon winner. You know, I mean, how dare you tell me my model doesn't look finished? I was like, well, it doesn't look finished. You know. And so I think that part's harder. But I think they're all equally difficult as a judge. I mean, I guess some are easier when you can just, if you're judging against a rubric, you have something defined as, hey, here's what meets the criteria for getting, you know, a recommendation or a prize or moving on to the next, you know, judging level or whatever it is. You usually are going to have some criteria. And sometimes it's easy to just see where a model doesn't hit that. And so you can just very quickly move through it, but you don't ever want to not pay attention to the things the model does right.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Great question.
judging can't, there's always subjectivity to it. You can't make art objectively judged.
Yeah.
Because every artist does have a different story they're telling. Every artist has a different style. So, you know, I mentioned not too long back, I don't remember if it was on a stream or in one of our conversations about the MAA celebration at Adepticon.
Yep.
But I was like, you know, you can't sit here and grade somebody on whether or not they have smooth blends.
Okay.
Because there are an equal amount of amazing models that have a lot of texture to them, but it's all intent. And what judges have to get good at doing is recognizing the intent and not just that, oh, this is a sloppy painter. Right? Because you can tell the difference. You can tell a sloppy painter who then tries to tell you, oh, I paint with that texture all the time. I'm like, well, then you need to stop making your texture go 8 different directions.
Oh, okay.
Because that's visually disturbing and has no coherence on the model, right? But you can tell a lot of difference between somebody that uses the same stroke and has all their texture moving in a direction that shows motion, right? That shows intent. And that's tough. That's tough to train yourself as a judge to do. Because sometimes you just look at the model and go, that's messy. But if you spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes, you'd be like, but that messiness is very, very organized. Like the messiness is very intentional, right? Yeah. I understand what they were doing. I know why they did that. Even if it's not done great and it may not, you know, get them to the next judging level, you can at least then talk to the person and say, you know what? I see what you were trying to do here. Great attempt. Next time, try this, 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 or this, right? That's when it really becomes valuable. And that's, I think, the hardest part about judging. Bar none, for any judge doing anything. I think that's the key, you know, because you're always burdened with your own expectations versus the competition and the person.
Dr. Rhino, what's going on? It's me. I'm the messy painter.
He is, yes.
Welcome in. Scorched Earth. So what you're saying is the judging is the same either way, but it's made easier when the artists are open to feedback and constructive criticism.
A lot of times. I think that's one of the big things. You know, I listen to a lot from the sidelines because, of course, I don't judge at Monte Sansevino. I don't get invited to judge at SMC. That's, you know, I don't travel in that rarefied air of people that, you know, are hanging out at art galleries for miniature art. Yeah. Right? I hang out here with my friends on the internet and teach how to paint. And so in those, I get to be a sideline artist and listen to the critique and listen to the people that either get it or don't get it. And there's a lot of, I won't say infighting, but it feels like that. There's a lot of, you know, nitpicking. There's a lot of, oh, you know, so-and-so doesn't like me. You know, there's a lot of that, which is why I don't like contests.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't like the feeling that when you lose, there was some reason you lost other than the fact that you didn't hit the rubric. That's why the MAA is so important to me for keeping in a more defined realm of not letting one judge's particular subjectivity exclude people he doesn't like, he or she doesn't like, exclude paint styles they don't like, you know? Like, I know lots of judges that won't look at your model if it doesn't have non-metallic metal. I know lots of people that will judge your model differently if it does have non-metallic metal, right? Depends.
Yeah.
And you gotta try to stay away from that kind of thought process and look at the model for what the storytelling experience is that the artist provided you. So that's hard. At all levels, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at the basic, you know, like if I go judge a contest here locally, and it's a lot of newer painters that are doing a community project where they're doing maybe a slow grow league for a new game or something like that, I love those because I get to go and look at models and have really good positive conversations with people because I can really focus in on the, wow, dude, I really love this part of your model. If you want to do better, think about X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And most times it's all about values and volumes. 100%. I can say that 80, 90% of my conversations, I may be erring on the side of being too high there, but I don't feel like it, are about value and the use of lighting and volume on the model. A lot of people make great color choices. A lot of people make great blending choices, right? They get the paint on smoothly, and they just haven't quite mastered light. Okay. You know, because if you're at a competition level, light is the key. How did you use light? And whether you go overboard with dramatic lighting and way too high of a contrast, that's irrelevant. It's like, again, that's storytelling, unless it's a thing for realism, unless you entered the realism category and you go like to crazy, bidirectional lighting with these, the firelight having as much effect on the model as the sunlight does, which wouldn't happen. Then you get docked for the realism part of it. But I don't see that very often. But it's how do you make the model look like it's in reality, whatever that reality is, fantasy 40K, whatever. It's like you're trying to make it look like it exists in that reality, regardless of how real that is. But light is something that we need to translate regardless. If you say, yeah, but this is on the planet Ixnabal, and on Ixnabal the sun's different. Well, light, we still have to assume light works the same by physics. And so that's why your shadows need to all be in the same direction. Your angle of lighting needs to be in the same direction. The intensity of lighting needs to increase as it goes towards your light, not have your light be, disco ball brightness across the whole model, things like that. So that's the place that I find most people fall down. So when people say, what do I need to do to make sure that I feel good about entering a model into a thing? Be confident with your placement of light on the model, 100%. Color and all that is secondary, tertiary. Don't make it look like a clown suit. Get your paint in the right spot. So I have to assume if you're willing to go be in a painting competition, I probably don't have to lecture you on make sure you don't get the color of the pants on the boots. So that kind of stuff, I'm going to assume you're doing well already. And then it's all about light, 100% about light. And that means reflective surface painting. So non-metallic metal, if you try it, you're going to get like, hey, do you realize you have this metal shining from about 6 different angles, but the rest of the model only shines from 1? Why is that? And you don't get the chance to ask the artist. So you just kind of have to go with what you know. And a lot of times you'll dock them for it because it's like, yeah, sword looks good, but it's lit from a completely different angle than the rest of the model, which is jarring.
That's a good tidbit.
And every judge will tell you something different, too. Every judge looks for something different. People that have been doing it for the longer periods of time will have things that they're more nuanced about looking for because they've seen it all.
Game Delay says, when I think about bringing something to enter into a competition, I have genuinely no idea what to bring because I want to paint until a model is good enough, in quotes, for me. Then I stop.
Yep. Well, yeah, always paint the model for you. Don't paint it for the competition. You'll learn by doing that, and probably, I won't say everybody gets let down. Some people get lucky and they'll win their first competition they go to. But, if you do that, you'll learn more because you'll learn about your paint style and what you like to do and what a judge expects. And if you're willing to then alter your paint style to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Paint for you first. Don't paint for the competition because you can never know what the competition expects. Even with a written rubric like what we're going to do, that's only going to take you half of the way.
Yeah.
Like I can guarantee you in our rubric, having the feet be firmly planted on the base will be a guaranteed necessity. Unless your model is flying, if I can see light between the base of the foot and the model and the base that you put it on, you'll get docked. Because too many people do that. People that win Slayer swords I've seen do that. The model has no weight. Looks like it's floating. That's why I always do the texture after I've placed the model on the base, because the foot looks like it's sinking into the earth.
Right.
You can choose to have that look like mud and sink a lot or sink a little, but make it look like it stays there. You don't want to see light underneath the feet.
I think this was a good choice, by the way, this bright, warm gray.
Yeah, it's giving good contrast on here.
Yeah,
we'll see if I can pick a good color to go over it, because again, I'm just going to do one coat of one step over the top.
Dr. Rhino says same. Yeah, I've definitely have been. I always do the base afterwards myself nowadays.
Well, it doesn't mean you have to do it after painting.
Yeah.
Just if you can remember, and you see me forget all the time, like these guys. We painted all these guys, and then we put the basing material on. That's a pain in the ass. But that's just laziness and forgetfulness on the stream. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world, you would, when you build the model, base them.
Yeah.
Then prime the basing material with the model.
Yep.
And then paint the whole thing. But if you put the model on the basing, on the base, and then base it, you will build the material up around the foot, which is the way it would happen. Unless he's, if you're standing on hard surface. And remember, I'll let me do this base and I'll draw something out on a magic card, because I wanted to really drive this point home. This is a good, since we're having a good discussion about, competition models and such, there are some things that are just things you will learn that you need to take with you through model building no matter what you're doing. Whether you're doing it for yourself or a friend or, competition or not, these are just things that will help your models look better, period. That are not very subjective. They're just the truth. Okay?
Okay.
And there aren't a whole lot of things like that. But, because like I said, there's as many ways to do art as there are artists. But let's draw something out here for you on a magic card. Oh, I need another one. I filled a card, Chris. All right.
You want a big fat Sharpie?
Pinsuelo. No, it's too big.
King size.
That scares me.
Let me focus in here. Okay.
So here's a good example. When doing vehicles is how I learned this. When I was doing scale modeling in my teens. Okay, because I would do a truck, right? And so the truck would have, especially like if it was a World War II truck, it might be a 6x6, right? So it has truck, right? Who cares, right? There's the truck, right there, truck. I can't not have it think, and it goes beep beep, beep beep. Because that's what trucks do, right? Beep, beep. So you have a truck. Well, if you put the truck on the base and you just set it on the base, right? And so the wheels sit on there like this, it never will win anything. It'll never make it to judging at anything with a real judge. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't locally or whatever, right? But this is the thing that plagues people is in your local room when you don't have a judge, or your local store where you don't have a judge that really judges a lot. The paint could be spectacular. You win. You're the best painter in your area. You go to an IPMS show and you put this in and it doesn't even get a notice award. It doesn't get anything. And you're like, but I'm the best painter. Well, one of the things, your paint might be really good, but guess what everybody else did? Everybody else took the wheels on their truck, right, and sanded them flat where they touch the ground. And probably, if they're really good, the winners took putty. Can you zoom in close?
Yeah.
The winners took putty and put a little putty here. And if you look at the sidewall of the tire, like, so this is from the front, they would put the ground here and they would sand the tire flat so they get rid of all this so it sits flat. And they would put putty to bow the sidewall out as it touches the ground. So now it has weight. Now that tire is actually touching that ground. It has the pad of tread hitting it where friction would be, and it's no longer this, where the only point it touches is where that one point of the circle hits the ground, right? It's also easier to glue to the base, right? But by doing this, you've now given weight. So the same thing with feet. If you're putting a model on a hard floor, like an MCP model or something like that, where it's on concrete, or a Star Wars model on the deck of the Death Star or something like that, whenever you have a foot, let's say we have a foot, right, that's like a running style foot, right, and it's on there, boom, ankle, there. And then you glue that to the floor, right?
Can you come up a little?
Right?
There it is, yeah.
So you have this gap that doesn't make any sense. So one thing you can do is you can, again, sand this flat to give you more of a pad of touch, right? Same thing with a foot that just comes down. I'm left-handed here, so I can't draw like that all the time. Let's if we have a foot that comes down, I'll draw it bigger so we can see it better. Right, and they've sculpted the foot to where the hard thing when sculpting is you don't know necessarily what base it's going on. But if I have this foot, it might have a dimension to it that when I glue it down, again, has more light, at the heel or at the toe, like that. Just those little minuscule areas like this, that little sliver, right, at the toe and the heel, might just be the way it's done and how you glued it to the base. If you sanded that foot a little bit, you would get it to be like this. And now you have weight, right? Now you have no light underneath it. You've altered the model, but that's the way it would be anyway. When you step on the ground, your foot flattens out. The model doesn't always show that. The model and the person sculpting it do it in midair. Most of these models are sculpted floating in space. They don't put them on anything. They might make sure the footbed touches the base, but like you have Space Marines that have this crap on them. Right? Like cleats. It's actually a line that goes across. If you looked at the bottom of the shoe, right, the Space Marines have these things on them, right? And some of the models have it to where it's a dimension to where if you glue it on the base, it actually only touches the foot pad at like 11 spots. Sand that crap off. Get rid of that. Sand it off so that the whole boot touches the ground and gives weight to the model. Seriously, because if I can see light through those little things, I'm docking you. Doesn't matter if the model came that way, because a lot of people will say that, but that's the way the model came. That'll make it right. That's a realism thing, but is something that because everybody in the world sees this day after day after day, they don't even know what the difference between light coming through the foot or not is. They just know they never see light underneath people's feet when they're walking.
Yeah.
Right? And so when they see your model and it has it like that, people be like, They don't even know what they're looking at that's wrong, but they know something's wrong.
Yeah.
And you're trying to avoid all those incorrectnesses in your model, right? And like when we're doing like stuff like this, like these Legion models and stuff, you don't even think about it. So this isn't something you think about for every model you do, but we're talking about competition models, right? We're talking about when you're trying to find what is going to push your model to the next level, it becomes those things. Because you and the guy next to you or girl next to you might paint at an equal skill level. So what are you going to do that separates you from everybody else that's also a great painter when you get to that level, right? It's going to be your storytelling. What did I do to give a nuance and life to my model that nobody else would have even thought about? Doesn't have to be converting, although that can help. Doesn't have to be, though. It can be, different dramatic lighting, right? It can be cast shadows, right? It can be all sorts of storytelling things that you haven't even thought of that weren't there on the model, right? They weren't on the box art, so you didn't paint them. And the guy next to you painted the same model in one because he put, the bust looking like it was next to a window with blinds, and it has the shadow of the blinds going across the model, and they win because they told a better story than you did, right? Same model could exist in a lot of those different situations.
And Muse is asking, is putting mud texture type paints valid to fill in those gaps you're talking about?
Could be, yeah, sure. That's another thing with like if you put the basing texture on first and then set the model into the texture and pull it off. If you're careful, because you can tear the texture, but if you can press the model into it and make footprints, take it off, let it dry, glue the model back on, that helps too. It puts the model into it. Sometimes you got to be careful because I can make it like mud. That can make it look like there's like really deep in the ground, and you have to remember that soft and wet soil you'll sink deeper into than hard soil. Hard soil you'll be closer to the top of the surface. So just always be thinking about that stuff. It takes time. That's what wins. Those little details, those little bits of effort that somebody knows, oh, that was time well spent. Sanding the tires down on your truck, come on. First time I saw that, I got angry because I was like, that's too easy to be something that people pay that much attention to. But the reality was it just made it more real. Because in the world of scale modeling, they're going for realism. That's like where we joke about rivet counters. They're looking to make sure that you have the right thing that particular picture of that tiger showed it had, not just what the model manufacturer put in the box. Those forums are insane. I never got to that level where I was like cared about whether or not the model really had a bucket on the back. I don't care. But those guys and gals are nuts. They'll be like, nope, that wasn't really on the 1946 version of that. You're like, so do I lose?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not always about how great your paint is. Somebody that tells a better story might not paint as well as you and beat you.
That's a good point. A lot of good info there.
You weren't listening at all.
I was absorbing. I was absorbing it like a sponge.
He didn't listen at all.
I did that with my Gargants where I wanted to do the bases, right? But I wanted to do them separately. But what I did was I put the texture paste on, right? The paint. And then I put the foot in.
Yeah.
And then I made, because the Gargants is kind of nice.
It places the model on the scene.
Yeah,
right?
and it made a huge footprint. Then I let the base dry, and then when I went to go glue it, it made it look like it was heavy.
Yeah.
Since it was a Gargant. So I definitely have...
Yeah, and a lot of times on big models, it's better to do that because then you can work on the base without the model in the way, which gives you a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
You find me on things like this where I'm just basing around these little guys, and I'm not even putting like tufts or anything on them right now. I'm just going to
You're not putting tufts on there?
I'm just painting them, dude.
How about some pink tufts?
Maybe.
Blue tufts?
I have some.
Oh,
I think
put
we
them
have
on an alien world.
I think we have a bunch of alien world ones. I mean, if anybody was on an alien world, it would be the alien terrorists.
What does an alien sound like? Jason? That was perfect. That was amazing. Good for you. That's great. Oh man, that's great.
That's great.
Avian, how you doing? Where's your question, Avian? I just saw it. Hello, Jason, Chris, and chat. Wait,
Hello.
Jason does not know how many rivets are on a tiger tank?
Not even anywhere. I wouldn't even venture a
bajillion.
guess, dude.
15 bajillion.
No.
Nick Lancer says 2 questions. What is the terrain texture
You get
stuff?
1.5.
2 questions for you. What is the terrain texture stuff Jason is using for these bases, and how does Jason make a rust effect? First question.
This is our gray fine.
Gray fine texture
Gray
tube.
earth fine.
You're gray earth fine.
You don't talk to me that way. The second question, how do we make a rust effect or texture?
One step rust.
One step. Are we talking about rust color, rust texture?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you write?
If you're talking about rusty metal, Jason's got a good workup for that. I told somebody about that last night at the Gamers Guild.
The underpainting method?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're straight.
Walked him over to the rack.
Showed him the products?
I showed him pictures, and he's like, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's too easy.
I'm trying to make grim dark custodes. Oh.
So help me out. You just want to work up for rust color? Or do you want an actual texture on the models? Because rust is a texture, right? It oxidizes and gets a gritty texture. But I would assume on custodes, they're not big enough to really do the texture. Models like this, you wouldn't put rust texture on. You just paint it. I like stuff that is along the lines of our... Oh, I didn't do this guy's tactical rock.
Shh, it's a white tactical rock.
Hold, please.
It kind of already looks like it's done, which is interesting.
Because I dry brushed it.
Yeah.
But it has brown and stuff on it, too.
So color. Nick Lancer saying color in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, say it.
Yeah, sure. Burnt sienna, burnt orange, orange oxide. Those are your starting colors. I like burnt sienna as the base. It's really dark. So it lets me, if I'm stippling it on or whatever I'm doing, it lets me set up the area nicely. And then orange oxide, burnt orange, depending on how orangey you want it, are great ones. And then once you're done laying down the orange, then I move into colors like yellow, yellow ochre works really great. Hang on a second. We'll dig something up where we've done some rust real quick.
I love that freaking undercoating rust effect.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what he's meaning by grimdark custodes, if that method would really work. Because I don't know if you're trying to do like the whole thing rusted on the armor, or if you just want rusty spots.
Oh,
right. Because this that Chris is talking about is the way that I do fully rusted armor, right?
Yeah.
Where I want to do that. And this is so simple. This took like 20 minutes. We did on stream.
Rusty spots. Yeah,
rusty
sick.
spots. But this, if you can see this, if you're using metallic paint, this is a great way because you can go in on the area where you want the rust. It doesn't have to be the whole armor. Let's just say you want rust on the knees or something like that. You can go in and you just kind of stipple in the burnt orange and the yellow ochre, right? And you just stipple them on there. And it looks really crazy because the model's now got splotches of orange and yellow patterned over one another. There's no rhyme or reason. You just put it all over one another. Then you dry brush the metal over the top. That's all this is. This is just dark steel dry brushed over the top of the rusty colors, the burnt orange, burnt sienna, burnt orange, and yellow ochre. And you can see some of the yellow ochre spots in there. And it has a really rusty feel to it. It's not technically correct because rust is a topical oxide, meaning that it would be on top of the metal, not beneath the metal. This creates it underneath the metal because you've dry brushed the silver over the top of the rust. But it's a great method to give you a really good beat up looking metal. And you can see we've done it to the whole armor on this guy, but you could just do it in spots.
And he said
it
burnt
would work
orange.
great.
He said burnt orange, Nick Lancer.
Yeah, burnt orange or or orange oxide.
There you go.
And then do I have anything where we've done specific rust paint here recently?
You did the heads, but not like you haven't used one step rust, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm just talking about painted rust in like area rust.
Actually, I haven't. I actually don't know. That's a good question.
I think if there's any models. This is a neat way to do like over steel. This gives kind of a rusty coat. I just painted this in dark neutral gray, bright neutral gray. And then I took our, made a wash out of burnt sienna, our glaze wash medium and burnt sienna, and then just painted over the whole thing. And you see how it builds up around rivets, right? Like that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And that's super simple. You just create a wash with our glaze wash medium and burnt sienna, the darker, not burnt orange. It would be too bright. Burnt sienna.
Gotcha.
Because when you're using it as a wash and you're putting it over bright colors, it's going to brighten up to be like burnt orange. This looks like we use burnt orange, but it's burnt sienna. If you use burnt orange, it would look like you used regular orange because it goes over these brighter grays. Right? So this works really well. And you can do this in spots too. Again, I'm showing you models where we've done it over entire surfaces, right? But you could do it more like I did the verdigris up here, where you just do spots of it, you know, and have fun. I'm about to paint a magic effect that's done with clear plastic. You want to keep it relatively see-through, but also want it to act as an OSL source. Do you go straight transparent, or should I brighten it up with white? Like, what's your step-by-step process, Commando Ken? If it's clear plastic, your transparents are going to be the only thing that keep it see-through. White won't, right? White will make it opaque. So you'll lose the transparency of it.
Would you do transparent white and then another transparent? Is that too...
No, I mean, your transparent on the clear object is going to be pretty good. You might then go and edge highlight it with, you know, that color mixed with white to make the edges brighter. I'd have to kind of, like, if you're doing like a clear flame, some of those Dungeons and Dragons models have that, right?
Yeah.
Where they're holding up like a clear flame or casting a clear spell. And if you want that to be bright but kind of see-through, it's a little tough because the brightness is going to be just the color you put on it. You're not going to be able to do a lot of affecting to it because that would be done with adding brighter colors that are typically opaque because they have white in them, which you're going to lose the clear aspect. So I would matte varnish or gloss varnish, probably matte. I would matte varnish the clear piece. Right? That's your primer for clear. If you're ever doing clear surfaces, hit them with matte varnish.
Yeah.
That gives you a primer coat, but you can still see through it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would paint with the transparent paint and the color that you want. You could mix whatever color with transparent white to brighten that color up and then put it on there, which would make the whole thing brighter and still see through.
Got it.
Right? So you put the color over it you want, and then that's your light source, and then you do your OSL from that point.
There you go.
Pretty simple. Always going to look a little different. It's going to be cool. It's always going to look a little different because clear plastic always looks like something else because you didn't paint it the same way.
You know, it's interesting because I was thinking about for my Horse Heresy nights, you can get those STLs where they are like fake ion shields.
Yep.
With clear resin. I saw someone do that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That would be cool with the transparents.
Yep. Do it the same way.
Would you get clear resin for that or colored resin? I guess clear.
I would do clear and paint it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of having anything not painted on your model.
Right. That's exactly.
Because if you do, it's the age-old, like, hey, I was doing my corn berserkers and I found this cool gold jewelry chain at Michael's and I put it on their fist and now look how great it looks. And I'm like, it looks like gold jewelry chain from Michael's. You know, it's not painted.
Right.
Prime it and paint it. Then it's chain, and then you can make it rusty or whatever you want. I don't like, unpainted leaf debris, like, the palm fronds that you buy at Michael's or at the, the craft store and you put on stuff. I don't like all that stuff.
The
another big detractor if you're doing competition is to have anything that isn't painted by you on your base.
Jason, it's 3:55.
What? All I did was dry brush a few. Oh no, I guess I did some painting on the details on some of those guys.
What did you do?
Okay, because I'm like, I didn't even get all these guys dry. We've done a lot of really good talking today, though.
We did.
A lot of really good questions.
That
today,
medium question was perfect, by the way, because I clipped that because a lot of people asked that. Like, what's just the differences between our mediums?
Yeah.
Can you give me that 1,000-foot level?
Remember that, and to add to that, remember that mediums are just ways to enhance paint. Yeah. And each medium should enhance the paint in a different way. Some of them will have redundancies, like matte varnish and glaze wash will both turn a surface matte.
Right.
But they do other things in addition. Well, the glaze wash does. So, always be looking at how it's trying to enhance your colors, and that's really the key.
Yeah. You do have a meeting. That's why I
reminded
think, right?
You.
Yes.
It's just Ellie.
Shout out to Ellie. She's okay.
She's your nemesis, I thought.
I'm just here for a long time. Not a good time, chat.
Oh, man. You're here for a good time, Chris. You have a good time when you're here.
There's something. I have something, chat.
Oh, geez. Here he is. He's gone into Chris depression mode.
No. It's not because I don't want to.
It must be because he played League of Legends recently.
I lost my bottom lane.
My God, that's that dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Droopy Dog or something like that.
I forget the name of that guy. Chris says Droopy. Yeah, it was Droopy.
Dog, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Avian.
Yes. Oh, that nails it too. So good.
Oh, hey, here's some links for you though. He's got 3 minutes, but I'm gonna give you links.
I do have a meeting at 4, and then I have a meeting clear across town at 5:30.
Where are you going?
I'm not telling you these things.
Where are you going?
It's not even on my schedule, so you really don't know. You're in the dark on this one.
Where are you going?
I'm not telling you.
Wow, I see how it is.
I have a business speaker presentation that I have to go to.
Oh, nice. That's fun.
I'm going with my real friends.
Oh. Oh, wow. That hurt many people. That hurt chat and me all at the same time. Wow.
We're getting close, chat.
I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, it's pretty close. You keep saying like you're cramming for the exam, but this army is like.
You realize we leave in a week, or you leave quicker than a week. I only have a week.
You keep saying you only have a week and your models are essentially done.
I have to do another full squad and more Wookiees.
That's true. And your commander.
And build my damn commander.
Did you see the commander box is actually kind of cool. There's a bunch of options in there.
And I don't know what any of them are.
I don't think
I am so Star Wars
I don't think it's gonna matter. I would just do something cool.
I'm just gonna put a commander together. They gave me a list and said, "Here's the loadout they need," and I'm like, "Yeah, right." Like we have all. When Matt built them, he just put what he thought was cool, so that's what we have.
We have cool stuff. Cool
So,
stuff. I don't think it'll matter.
You need to make Wookiee cookies?
Technically,
that's great.
Technically, they do matter, but I don't know if Dallas is gonna hold you to that.
Nah.
There you go.
Wirehead, yeah, that mix between the one-step yellow and the one-step green made a perfect kind of orky goblin flesh. It's just perfect. Like, if you had a lot of goblins to paint, you're done with that green. It's too good. It shows the power of one-step. I've been showing you, chat. I hope you're ready. Anyway, hit the links, do the things, buy paint.
That's right.
So that's the thing. I don't know that they told you when you came into the stream if you're new here.
Oh.
I want to make it explicitly clear because I'm not a person that likes to defraud people.
Defraud people?
Defraud, yeah. Well, to lead them astray, to not tell them the truth. So I'm being truthful with you right now, chat. When you walked in the door and participated in this stream, you gave us your soul. So yeah. Sorry, not sorry, but now you have to buy paint. So monumenthobbies.com, monumenthobbies.eu, buy all the paint. Don't buy it all because we need to give some to people tomorrow too. But make sure that you hit the like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff that they tell you to hit.
That's right.
And join us on this wonderful stream whenever you can. We do this Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monument Standard Time here from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, where it's like 100 million degrees, by the way, in the middle of March.
It's dumb.
It's so dumb.
I think it's going to get cooler again, though.
I hope so. But we'd love to have you back. We have an amazing squad of people, as you've seen. Great questions today. Hopefully we gave you some good answers, some good inspiration as we finish up our Star Wars Legion army so we can go whip Dallas into shape at Adepticon. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks so much for hanging out with us, watching some paint dry. Make sure to join the Discord. Coming up on 7,000 amazing artists just like yourselves over there. Great inspiration, great friends to be made, great times to be had. Love to see you over there. That's right. Good conversation. And remember that with Adepticon coming up, we're going to finish out this week. So we still have a giveaway this week. We have Monday. Are we streaming Monday?
We're streaming Monday.
I'm streaming Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I leave Wednesday for Adepticon, so there will be no stream after Tuesday of next week until we get back the following week as we go to Adepticon. So make sure if you're at Adepticon or if you're around Milwaukee, Chicagoland area, you should at least stop by for a day and say hello.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Please.
So we'd love to
have
see you
fun
there.
with
We got a
us.
lot of really cool events. It'll be the first time you can purchase One Step paints in their full glory. When they're gone at the show, they're gone, and then they'll be back in May for worldwide release. So we're really excited about all that, as well as the new expert acrylics we'll have there. The first of the U.S.-made Sable brush sets will be at Adepticon. There's a lot of really cool special stuff at Adepticon. So if you're there, great timing. So great hanging out with you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Stick around for Chris to raid somebody, show some love in the channel we wind up in, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.
Bye.